In this video, I want to wrap up our discussion of Heidegger's The Question Concerning Technology. So I'm going to be offering a bit of an explication. I'll be talking a little bit about Heidegger's method and once again about some of his unusual vocabulary. Um, I don't mean to belabor the point, but understanding how Heidegger uses some of these strange words and phrases is absolutely instrumental to understanding his existentialist critique of modern technology itself. So we'll talk a little bit about his phrases like bringing forth and challenging forth, uh, his use of Greek terms like poiesis and physis and techne, in framing, which is an important concept for him, the standing reserve or the stockpile, and of course, just the distinction between what he'll call craftsmanship and modern technology. Finally, I'll try to make a little bit of sense of all of this and provide what I think is sort of his existentialist critique. And forgive me, there are likely to be a few jump cuts in this video as I stop on a couple of occasions. The reason is that I am using as my source material here a paper that I wrote about Heidegger in 1999, which makes me really feel old. Imagining none of you were probably alive in 1999 who are watching this video. But anyway, let's get started by talking a little bit about his method. So, in this paper, at least, I am going to argue that his method is not wholly distinct from the method of the Greek philosophers. What he's doing is kind of a Socratic Olympus or a Platonic dialogue. Sure, there there aren't any other characters, but he is considering several points of view. He makes distinctions, and he whittles away at false answers in order to get to true ones. As I said, I am using as my source material for this explication a paper that I wrote a long, long time ago. So one of the things that I write here, I say that often Heidegger appears to wander about aimlessly, making many speculative claims but offering no real arguments. However, I believe upon closer examination, we'll find that Heidegger is working within a precise epistemic methodology. I think that it is the simple but rigorous method of early Greek philosophy, the Socratic Olympus. Although there may be no other characters, Heidegger's essay shares many commonalities with the early Platonic dialogues. Like the character of Socrates, Heidegger poses a fundamental question about the essence of things. He considers and rejects several answers, and finally strikes upon the truth of the matter. So I say that his search for the essence of technology is not very different from Socrates' Olympic search for the essence of piety or beauty or justice. And I say, in fact, many of the most obdurate barriers to understanding Heidegger will fall away when we realize that he's continuing a philosophical tradition, a style of discourse begun by his Greek mentors, Plato and Aristotle, and of course, Parmenides, from whom I think he derives his view of being. Pretty early on, Heidegger sets forth his goal, that is, a free relationship with the essence of technology. He writes, The relationship will be free if it opens our human existence to the essence of technology. This, of course, means that in addition to understanding the essence of technology, we must also understand the essence of humanity if Heidegger's goal is to be realized. Um, and it's important to understand that these are not exactly different goals. That is, the essence of humanity is intimately tied up with and shaped by the essence of technology and all that humans encounter in the world. Heidegger writes, there is no such thing as a man who solely of himself is only man. So, next we get a bit about essence. And there's some confusing things here where Heidegger is talking about looking beyond the merely correct in order to find the true. Uh, I don't know what exactly to say about uh, this language. I think perhaps he has in mind something like the Greek distinction between the intention or essence of a thing and the extension, or the non-essential definition of a thing, where you'd maybe give an example of the thing, right? So there's the essence of beauty, and then that's the intention, and then the extensional definition would be like an example, the sunset over Honolulu, Juliette Binoche's face, right? These would be extensional examples of beauty, but would not be beauty in itself, in its essence. I think maybe that's what he's saying when he says we have to look beyond the merely correct to get to the true. Then he engages with his causal arguments, and he wants to chase down these, Aristotle's four causes, and in particular, he seems to be concerned with Aristotle's final or teleological uh, cause. So I'll read just a little bit here from my paper, but I don't think this is, a terribly important bit. Anyway, let's see. The Western philosophical tradition, he claims, has greatly misunderstood what Aristotle meant by the telos. Telos, he writes, is all too often translated as aim or purpose, and so misinterpreted. Really, he claims, what Aristotle meant by the teleological cause was the capstone of occasioning, or that which gives bounds to matter and aspect, and in which the two are unified into their final shape and structure. All of this is a little amorphous and confusing, but what comes out of it is that Heidegger, when he looks deeply into the essence of causal telos, he sees that there is something even more fundamental. This is what he calls bringing forth. The bringing forth is, again, not an easy notion to understand. Heidegger describes the bringing forth of the thing as that which is not yet present arriving into presencing. Again, bringing forth brings hither out of concealment, forth into unconcealment. Bringing forth comes to pass only insofar as something concealed comes into unconcealment. Again, I don't know what exactly to say about um, this language or the precision of it, but here I think is the upshot. He thinks that bringing forth, bringing something into being, is an important part of technology. And there are two kinds of bringing forth. And he says that this was recognized by the Greeks. The Greeks understood that first there is poiesis, right? That's a bringing forth by uh, something previous, when something previously absent becomes present. When an artisan creates a pot, she brings forth something that was previously absent into being. Then there is also physis. Physis is the bringing forth from without of oneself. The blooming of a flower is an example of physis. Um, the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly would be an example of physis. Now, then Heidegger notes that it's not within physis, but rather within poiesis that the essence of technology lies. When we engage in technological activities, we are bringing forth whole new things into existence. But the essence of technology is not synonymous with poiesis, for not everything that is brought into being was brought into being, purposely by humans. Some things were brought into being by nature itself. These things are not technological. Thus, Heidegger concludes that the essence of technology lies within the subcategory of poiesis, which the Greeks have called techne. Techne, Heidegger says, is the human revealing of that which cannot bring itself forth. And this, Heidegger concludes, is the true essence of technology. But wait, there's always another distinction. With Heidegger, there's always another subtle sub-distinction to be made. Not all of those things that we call technology seem to fit the essence of techne. There is a marked difference, Heidegger says, between what we might call craftsmanship and modern technology. Craftsmanship would include such technological activities as building a fire, farming, pottery, generating energy from windmills, even the Elenchic method of inquiry, Socrates' method of asking questions in order to find truth. That would be a technological activity. That would be a kind of craftsmanship. Other technologies, however, like coal mining, assembly line production, the damming up of rivers for the purposes of generating power, these, he thinks, are not representative technology. Excuse me, let me say that again. These are not representative of craftsmanship. These are the kinds of modern technologies that he's going to warn us about. Heidegger says there are two fundamental differences between craftsmanship and modern technologies. First, modern technology relies on exact physical science, whereas craftsmanship does not. Second, and perhaps more importantly, modern technology does not seem to bring forth in the same sense of poiesis. Rather, it challenges forth. It puts the earth to an unreasonable demand. Modern technology demands that the earth supply energy that can be extracted and stored for future consumption. This is modern technology and the problem with modern technology. Heidegger believes that the spirit of modern technology is all about manipulating the earth and her aspects for the mere purpose of feeding The standing reserve, that great stockpile of energy, whose purpose is only to sit and wait for human consumption. Thus, modern technology is contrary to the telos, the purpose of the earth. Please hang with me just a little while longer because we're getting close to the big climax here. So, why is modern technology at odds with humanity? Well, Heidegger gives two important reasons. First, as the earth is continually challenged to produce more and more to feed the standing reserve, humans themselves are made into commodities. Humans become further cogs in a great machine that is no longer human directed. Human ingenuity and human labor are put to work to exploit the earth in order to feed the standing reserve. And as the standing reserve grows, its need grows. As its need grows, and then subsequently met, it gains power. And Heidegger says, becomes autonomous and soon holds dominion over humankind. Humans, therefore, in a quite literal sense, become slaves to modern technology. This power, this power that the standing reserve wields, is what Heidegger calls inframing. By the way, for any science fiction fans, fans of science fiction novels or just great American literature, uh, this whole bit about this, as the standing reserve grows, it becomes autonomous and then enslaves the humans. This reminds me so much of a number of Kurt Vonnegut's novels, but in particular, his first one, Player Piano. It's a book I highly recommend if you enjoy like dystopian science fiction literature, that kind of thing. Well, let's get back to inframing. This is that power that the standing reserve wields over us. Inframing, he writes, is that which has already claimed man, that which gathers man into ordering. Inframing challenges humans to challenge the earth, until finally humans are no longer free to choose or control their production. This decision is taken out of human hands when human beings are no longer in control. Their work ceases to be technological, and there's no more craftsmanship. We're no longer engaging with the work and with the world as human beings are meant to do. It's part of our poesis. There's another interesting bit here. So he tells us that inframing gathers man into ordering. It challenges us to challenge the earth until we're no longer free to control our own production. It makes me think of what Marx says about not controlling the means of production. But here, it's not another class of people controlling the production. Uh, it's the standing reserve, this thing that we've built through our embrace of modern technology. Finally, Heidegger says that modern technology leads humankind into two illusions. First is the illusion that we are in control of production and that the world and the things in the world are human inventions. We have this illusion because we see the world take shape through our labor, or maybe through our thinking, but it is not free thinking or free labor. It is forced. We are not really bringing things into being in the sense of poesis in modern technology. The second illusion is that we humans encounter ourselves, encounter our essence in our work. In our former state of technology as craftsmanship, as a poetic bringing forth, humans did encounter themselves in their work. This is the essence of what it is to be a human being, is to work and to shape the world with our hands and our minds. But in modern technology, we don't get to do that anymore. We're basically, building a machine, and we become cogs in the machine, and the machine is running things. This is why we end up alien. This is why we end up as strangers in a strange land. We are no longer fully human when we have embraced modern technology. What do you think? I want to talk a little bit more about a few of these ideas and your final paper in one last video. But thanks for your hard work getting through this.